Hi, it's Anne, and I'm the ambassador of ease, coming to you from a place and space of ease and grace. I have a surprise for you, something that's going to make your day feel lighter and easier. My guest here comes to you from California, who is the co-host of a wonderful show called Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. His name is Ed Biagiotti, and he is a light soul. And what I mean by that is that he's not a heavy soul, he's a light soul. And he's light in terms of being bright as well. And Ed, I want to welcome you today and thank you for coming on. I want to ask you, and you can say hi if you want to. You can give me
hello. Hello. Nice to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you. You're amazing as well. So I'm a big fan.
Thank you. I wonder if you would share with us something that you feel sure makes your life easier. And I know you talk about this a lot on the Funniest Thing show. So please share this with my followers here, or not my followers. Goodness gracious, that sounds.
I get it.
Oh wow, people that may be tuned in today. Thank you. Excuse me for, putting me up here. My God. Oh gosh. Sorry. Okay. So Ed, what makes your life easier?
Well, the one thing that we always recommend, Darrell and I, when people come to us or when we're on the show, is a morning routine. That's how the label Darrell was given it to it as, because when he asked me, the same way his mentor asked him, do you meditate every day? It was like, well, and people say this to me all the time. I was like, kind of, but it wasn't a definitive yes at that time. And he told me, just get up every day, even if it's for 7 minutes. Do some inspired reading. We read every day, like Alan Cohen, Around the Year with Emmett Fox, Deep Breath of Life by Alan Cohen, Daily Word. But it doesn't have to be those things, but some inspired reading. I call it breaking up the rocks, right? It's in my mind. I get up because as soon as I get up, my conditioned mind will start to run, and with worries. It's amazing how quickly that can happen for me.
Now, what did you say you call it? Breaking up the rock?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is, it's like the soil in my brain. It's like I read these other people sharing these inspired ideas, and it starts to like break up the ground, make it more fertile, right? For new ideas to come through. It's funny, no one's ever asked me that. I've always said that like intuitively, because I'm an intuitive person, that image, but it's like breaking up the ground to create a garden. And it's like getting the soil ready for new ideas, right? So I do the reading, then meditate. For me, it's gotten to be 17 minutes on my timer on my phone. I do some Catherine Ponder affirmations once I'm meditating, and my mind starts to, what I look at as, first, my mind's very active with certain conditioned vibrations that, like thoughts, worries, fears, doubts that do not make life easy, that are very concerned. How are we going to get through it? It feels hard, right? So I take my attention off of those and just relax and breathe. And what happens is when I stop feeding that with my attention, it starts to slow down those old thoughts. Because those thoughts, if I can try my darndest to make them go away, but that's still feeding that energy and it gets going faster. But if I relax, it's like, those thoughts start to slow down. As they slow down, I start to feel inspired. There's a reason it's called the New Thought movement. New thoughts start to come up. They come up from within, from maybe what you might call the divine mind, or the Christ mind, or the Christ mind, or the truth of who I am. And then I have some Catherine Ponder affirmations that I will then start, that I've just been doing for so long that I remember them. I do not depend upon persons or conditions for my prosperity. I bless persons or conditions as channels of my prosperity. God is the source of my supply. These type of thoughts that I want to think, that are in harmony with making life easy. Because I believe life is always flowing in a positive direction. And the more I can cooperate with that, the better off and the easier my life will become. Our show is called, our podcast, which you are the guest on in the coming week, is called Funniest Thing. Not because of funny, but because Darrell's mentor recommended we call it Funniest Thing. It's his idea for us to even do the show, but it's because when Darrell would do his morning routine, bless the situation instead of curse it, find a way to let go of the fearful, protect myself mentality and get into the flow of kindness and generosity, even in the face when he'd be tempted to protect himself, but he would do the morning routine, practice these things, forgive himself, do all of these things. And then every time the situation would turn out for the better, he'd call his mentor and say, Mike, funniest thing, you're never going to believe what happened. So when I live this way, this morning routine the reason it's so important is because every day it gives me a time to connect with the infinite. I don't leave the morning routine all the time, like the whole day I'm still in that space, but it gives me a better chance to return to it because in the morning I have felt that sense of oneness that we read about in these books, and it just makes it gives me a better chance throughout the day to stay in the flow with the easy flowing life. I guess Eric Butterworth would call it treating the concern first, not the condition first. Instead of, how am I going to fix this thing? First, remind myself that I'm loved and supported, that everyone I'm going to be dealing with is a human, all of those things, so that when I do go to treat the condition, what I have to do, I do it with a loving, kind, and receptive heart, and amazing things happen on a very regular basis.
Sounds like you found out one of the secrets of the universe. And I love that what'd you say? Not the rock, not the rock, but what the rock?
Oh, breaking up the rocks?
Breaking up the rock. And so you're creating soil. And in that soil, the soil is ready for the seeds to be planted for a great day. It's like a garden for the day, that you're tending your garden first. You tend the soil. I love that. Well, that's a wonderful idea. I think that, in the East, it's actually called sadhana, which is spiritual practice. And I myself do a spiritual practice every day. And one thing I want to talk about spiritual practice, and that is that the spiritual practice to do is the one that we will do. We may read what's recommended by a lot of different people, but in our hearts, we know what's right for us. You've developed one that's right for you. That may not be exactly true for somebody else. They may not want to say affirmations. They may want to do a out loud mantra thing for 3 minutes or something. So we plan what our own sadhana, our own spiritual practice is, and that's the one that we'll do. Now, what happens sometimes is the very one that we're doing no longer serves us as well. And so that means that we might want to tweak it or change something, because when it no longer feels vibrant and alive, it no longer revitalizes us, then we want to make it change a little bit. And usually or frequently that will happen naturally. Have you ever changed anything that you've done on your practices or moved anything around?
Oh, for certain. Yeah, I've changed what I read. Sometimes I'll meditate first. So for me, it's like I found this template that worked for me, which is to have that time, and I love it now. But it really is like brushing my teeth. When I go anywhere, I'll bring books. It doesn't matter because it's so beneficial. But yeah, within that, for me, I'll change it. Maybe if I wanted to, I would just read, or I would just, if I was already in an affirmative place, I might just. But yeah, so I'm flexible as well. I agree with you, because what I'm really looking to do is harmonize with the principles, because if you practice what you practice to have that effect, and I practice what I practice, when we come together, there will be principles that are universal that we both arrive at, and that's what brings that sense of harmony. And however you arrive there, that's the thing that go for that.
There's a lyric from a song: love in any language spoken from the heart brings us all together, never apart. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Did you have anything else?
I love you, and I love this opportunity. This is another part of my morning routine this morning, to be with you, and what a pleasure it really is. So thank you.
Okay. Well, one more thing I want you to remember, and that is that I'm EZier, the ambassador of ease, and I love you. Anything from you, Darrell?
Ed. Yeah, no
Darrell
problem.
Darrell and Ed.
I guess for today I could be Easy Eddie, but we always say at the end of our show as well, Darrell and Ed love you.
Thank you so much. Take
You're
care,
welcome. Thank
everyone,
you.
and have an easy day.
Yes.